All right, welcome back to Fright Night Flicks. You're here with Dan and Darren, your go-to horror movie review channel, right?
Yeah. What's up, guys? What's up?
What's up? What's up? So first of all, I want to say thank you guys because I think we asked last time for you guys to leave some reviews.
I believe we did. Yeah, absolutely.
And we got up to 7 on Spotify, and well, I'm going to be honest, we got none on Apple. We're still at 3.
Tough times. Tough times.
Hey, guys, leave a review on Apple, and we'll read it here.
Yeah.
That sounds cool, right?
It sounds easy enough to me. I'll go ahead and do it right now.
Now, if you guys could, though, it'd be greatly appreciated. This podcast is actually doing better than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank
It's
you.
doing very well. and thanks to everyone who did leave a review so far, right?
I think that's a double thanks.
Yeah, I need a thanks too.
Might not a triple. Thank you again. So today we're going to be going over the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning.
Right, which actually is the sequel to the movie we just watched, TCM 2003.
Yeah, it's 2003, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jessica Biel. So as this name implies, we're going to learn about the origin of Leatherface. And I mean, to be honest, this kind of explains a lot of the last movie.
Dude, honestly, you probably should watch the other one first, the 2003, because this whole movie, I feel like the whole movie is basically just telling you how everything happened.
I'm going to rephrase what you said. You should actually watch this first so it explains what happened in the last one.
Oh, shoot, dude, you could go the other way too. You're right.
That seems to make a little more sense.
This is the prequel. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Does that make sense? Dude, you're totally right.
I know, of course.
Genius over here, this guy.
So the director of this movie is Jonathan Liebesman. So hopefully I said that right.
Close enough. We'll take
Writer
it.
Sheldon Turner and David Scow.
Oh,
Yes.
So no Hinkle, huh? Or Hooper?
Our Hooper. As usual, how we're going to do this, we're going to review the movie. There's a couple, I threw in a fun segment of the best kill of the movie. We're going to talk about it and we'll give our final rating and then we'll go over some trivia. So let's dive right into the movie. So the movie starts off at the slaughterhouse. We see cows being led down the cattle chute on their way to the slaughterhouse. Sorry,
I'm going to lead you down the cattle chute.
we messed this up already. So they enter into the slaughterhouse. Then we see the iconic metal door being slammed.
Oh, setting the mood.
Yeah. So we meet our first character of the family, Sloan, the biological mother of Leatherface. So she's working in the slaughterhouse. She's packing up meat. She's cutting up meat. She's doing it all.
Her name's Sloan.
Sorry, I said Sloan. I think it's Sloan.
I was like, dude, I've never heard that name.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. She looks like a Sloan.
We should call this guy Slow Dan, right? Boom, roasted.
So she starts, she's working in this meat packing plant, right? It seems to be just her and the managers.
Right.
And she starts having abdominal pain.
Yeah.
One would may even say contractions.
Sure seems like it.
Her water breaks, sending a mix of blood and water onto the ground.
This is very gross. I mean, I get it. Hey, shout out to all you moms out there. I've watched the birthing process. Don't want to watch it on film.
No,
not into it.
No, this is very disgusting, especially in this setting.
Yeah.
So she gets the manager's attention. He kind of comes over. She falls to the ground. The manager comes over. I already said that, so he's still there.
Yeah. He never left, but yeah.
And then she has, I would say, a traumatic Leatherface birth where the baby shoots out and she dies.
Yeah. Rep.
Yeah.
Did she die? Because I wasn't
Yes.
exactly clear. It
She
kind of
died.
looked like it.
She
Okay.
died.
It was kind of a jump scare birth too, by the way.
It was. We'll get more into it. So on the outside of the slaughterhouse, though, so there's a little cutscene here that happens. Now we go to a little bit later in the day. Old Luda May, if you remember from last movie.
Yep.
She's outside the slaughterhouse doing some dumpster diving.
As one does.
Yeah, so she's
In
eating
Texas. Apparently Texas people are into this.
Yeah. So she's eating trash.
She's not eating trash.
She's eating meat out of the trash.
Oh,
Raw
is she?
meat. Oh yeah.
Oh God, I missed that.
Yeah. And in there she finds a sweet little baby.
And she takes it as her own.
She takes Leatherface, and then Leatherface gets taken back to the family house where we meet old Uncle Charlie. Now,
Hoyt, right?
Yeah, that's going to be Sheriff Hoyt, and we'll see how that develops. But it's played by R. Lee Ermey.
Okay.
And that's our first scene of Leatherface being born.
So they basically just showed us in this version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this is how Leatherface became a part of the family.
Right. And this is his new family. His parent, well, we've met his biological mother. I still don't think we know who the dad is.
Yeah, I was wondering, so that was one of my questions. I was like, was the foreman, is that what they're called at the, I don't know how slaughterhouse.
Sure.
You don't know the personnel.
You don't know the etiquette. Of
No. So, no disrespect to you slaughters out there. But yeah, I was wondering, was the foreman the father? I don't know.
I don't know. That dude was a dick, though.
It was kind of weird. We never, yeah, he was a dick. They were like unnecessarily, well, okay, actually, I'm jumping ahead. Yes, he was a jerk. And what also confused me, and I see you have it written down here, when she starts panicking.
Don't need to reference that.
When
But
she's when she's panicking and he says, that's what you get for drinking on the job.
That's what you get for drinking on the job, son.
Yeah, and there's nothing to imply she was drinking.
She doesn't look like someone who would be drinking on the job.
No, she just looked like a nice lady working in the slaughterhouse.
There's so many questions and all unanswered here.
Yeah, she also asked for a bathroom break when she looked like she was having some abdominal pain. That wasn't given, really. And it's implied this foreman, well, it's not implied. He did. He threw a baby away. Probably the biggest dick move you can make, right?
Well, that's going to come back to haunt him.
I mean, even the family doesn't throw babies away. They actually take babies.
Yeah, this guy's like really bad.
Yeah, he's a bad person.
All right, let's move on then.
And this also alludes to me. When I saw old, what's her name? May eating the meat. It's like, to me, I saw some of the cannibalism traits coming in there.
That was the first start.
All right. So now it's July of 1969. The slaughterhouse is condemned, but there's one man who just doesn't want to give it up.
Dude, Leatherface is a beast of a worker.
I mean, this guy's got to have the best work ethic around.
Yeah, he doesn't seem, he's like a machine. He just doesn't want to stop.
He loves chopping meat.
Yeah.
So he's working there. The plant manager is with his little minion, is basically like, get this guy out of here. The minion goes down, and Leatherface is intimidating. Thomas is intimidating. He's Thomas right now. He turns into Leatherface.
Yeah, not yet Leatherface, just Thomas without a face.
Yeah. Thomas with like a mask. He wears like a mask.
Like a little ninja mask almost, right?
Yeah. So the minion basically gets him to leave, and that's kind of the end of this part. But there's a couple things. The way they talk to Thomas is crazy.
You gotta get the hell out of here, you dumb animal.
I have a lot of problems with this movie. We're going to get to those. But yeah, it's off the rip. It's like, why are they being so rude to this guy? Plus, they know they're afraid of him, obviously. Why would you go and poke the bear, right?
Yeah, I think I made a note, like a kinder approach probably would have worked just fine.
I was like, hey, Thomas, this place is condemned. You can leave now, right?
Yeah. Well, he's got to be their best worker.
Oh, yeah. All-star for sure.
I mean, he has to be employee of the month. Am I wrong?
No.
Like, this guy works nonstop. He's off the clock, just going.
No, you're right. He's an amazing worker. It didn't make sense to me why they're even being rude. I feel like the whole point of that is just to get us to dislike these people. But I think in the context of the movie, it didn't really make sense.
Well, here's some things they said. Ugly beast, oversized R word.
Ooh.
Okay. And then the minion actually calls him a dumb animal to his face.
Yeah, let's be real. At this point, I'm ready for both these guys to die. Poor Leatherface didn't deserve this. He just literally all the guy is doing is his work.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this movie is really a poor Leatherface movie.
Okay, this guy's a monster.
Yeah,
he turns into a straight monster.
This guy is kind of a monster.
But you know what it is? They're building up this story that he's been picked on, right? And he's finally had enough.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Well, we'll get into that. We're not going to jump ahead. All right. It's time to meet some of our victims.
Here we go, guys.
So we're going to meet Eric and Chrissy and Dean and Bailey. Those are going to be our 4 victims, all right? So we start off in a hotel pool. Eric's holding a knife in his teeth. Something out of Predator or something coming out of a swamp. Like, watch too many Navy SEAL movies. You know what I mean?
Well, he's been to Vietnam. I think that's what they do over there.
You want to know how he's been to Vietnam?
How?
He's going to tell us over and over again.
Yeah. The Vietnam storyline does not end. It just keeps going. And sometimes there's like no reason to even be talking about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little too much this movie, but that's for the end.
Dude, trust me. It's too much.
So Eric's with Chrissy. He comes out of the water. And he explains to her that's how they catch enemies in the swamp. He used some other colorful words that I'm not going to say on here.
Yeah.
But so he's going back to Nam. That's the thing. That's like the storyline here is Eric and Dean are going to go to Nam.
Right. And Chrissy Chrissy's from Fast and the Furious. Who was she? Was she the sister of Vin Diesel or something?
Yeah, she's the one Paul Walker was with, right?
Dude, I forget, but she was
It's
definitely in Fast and
Brewster,
Furious.
something Brewster,
Whatever.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Eric and Chrissy are down in the pool. Then we have Dean and Bailey. And man, it's getting hot up in this hotel room.
Dean doesn't deserve what's going to happen.
No, I have some notes on that. So they're up in this room. Dean is tied up to the bed. And I'll say Bailey is trying to give this guy an epic send-off to Nam.
Dude, Bailey's doing a great job.
You have to kind of watch some of this to understand, but you guys get the gist. I mean, she's crawling up on him. They're wearing little to no clothes, and she don't look bad at all.
Yeah, they're doing a little foreplay. Foreplay.
Yeah, but Dean can't do it because he's worried about Nam, and
Nam ruins this movie.
Because he's going to Nam, and he got drafted.
Right.
So he's got to go, and him and Eric are going to go, and he just doesn't even understand why Eric wants to go back.
I don't know if you said it. They're brothers. Did we say that?
We did not. They are brothers.
Yeah, that major part of this movie. Eric and Dean are brothers, both going to Nam. Eric has already been to Nam, but he's going back because his brother's going.
Right. So Dean's holding his draft card, but Bailey has a plan to like get him out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
She tells him, "You're going to go tell Eric we're going to Mexico. You're not going to war, no matter what this stupid card says."
Okay.
So that kind of sets the stage. There's a little conflict between the brothers here. Eric loves Nam.
Well, he's making it seem that way. I don't think he really does love it. I think he's just like putting an act on.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Dean and Bailey, they want to run off to Mexico. In the meantime, Eric and Chrissy out in the pool kind of explain their future. They want to get married, have kids. They're totally in love. I would say the other two maybe lust.
Well, the other two are younger. These two are more mature. Eric's already been to war, come back. He's ready to start a family.
Yeah, a few things on this whole scene here, right?
Okay, let's get into it.
One, the pool that he's swimming in is disgusting. It's like green water.
It didn't look clean at all.
That's like the only thing I was thinking about in the beginning of this movie.
And he's got his mouth open because he's got a knife in it, right?
Correct.
Just sucking on that nasty water.
My other thought is Bailey's dead for sure because she's way too hot and like she showed too much in this one.
Yeah, you can't give it up that early.
In a horror movie, like you're asking for it. My last thought on it, Dean's a bitch.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. If I was a single man, I'm happily married. Just so I want to throw that out there. But if I was a single man in his position, I don't care if I was in Nam with napalm falling from the sky. I am not telling her to take off. You know?
I mean, it was in my notes. I put, I'm deeply bothered that Dean did not pull the trigger on that.
I mean, dude.
I mean, you had a layup, bro, and you bricked it.
He bricked it hard.
You know what's funny? So you said Chris is cool. So I outlined it's like Dean's soft. That's what I got. Dean's super soft. Bailey's hot, right?
Bailey's way hot.
Chrissy, cool. And I put Eric's tough.
Yeah, that's all about right.
That's kind of how it's. We were getting to like a feel for the personalities. I'm gonna just tell you right now, though, off the rip, I'm like not a fan of Dean. Plus, this whole war plan, it's like, why do you? Oh, I get it, it's the movie, but it's like realistically, you would do this before you actually went on this trip.
You gotta save it for later. That's like an end. I have a whole. I think I'm talking about the end of the movie about that.
All right, let's go.
So back at the slaughterhouse, Leatherface returns with a mallet. So this is again, it's been condemned. He returns back. The manager tells him to go home, calls Leatherface stupid, to which Leatherface beats him to death with a mallet.
Okay, so we all agree this guy deserved it.
So one thing we got to talk about is there's a random chainsaw on the manager's desk.
Well, first, can we talk about the way that the guy died?
Oh,
Leatherface completely destroyed this man.
Leatherface hates kneecap.
Bro, I couldn't watch this. Like, there's some gruesome kills in this, but he like flattened his legs out, and then I think he finished him off in the head or something. But man, it was like very, very violent.
I actually will say the kills like get better and better as the movie goes.
Yeah, sure.
That's
I'll
true.
Go with that. I'll go with that.
Okay.
But you're right. Then so when he's done killing, there's just a magical chainsaw sitting on the desk.
Which, I don't know. Do they use chainsaws at slaughterhouses? I really don't think so.
It doesn't seem like that would be efficient.
It's not a great meat cutting. I mean, it'll cut, but it's not like the meat cutting tool.
Well, I feel like it won't be a clean cut.
Not at all.
Right?
I don't know why it's on his desk, but the chainsaw's there, and that's where Leatherface gets his chainsaw.
Yep.
So back at the family house, Sheriff Hoyt arrives to meet Uncle Charlie.
The real Sheriff Hoyt.
The real Sheriff Hoyt, okay? So Uncle Charlie is the Sheriff Hoyt from last movie.
Yeah, we're going to find out. Yeah, we're going to find out. Hoyt kills Hoyt. Now it's all confusing. The old man kills the sheriff and then takes his name and his badge.
Yes, that'll come up. So basically, the real Sheriff Hoyt found the manager's body at the slaughterhouse, knows that Thomas, aka Leatherface, killed him. So what does he do? He gets Uncle Charlie in the car with him, and they go to look for Leatherface. En route to find him, the sheriff explains that he's like the last dude left. Everyone's leaving town. He's like the lone wolf.
No one would ever notice if I was dead, right?
I mean, if you killed me and took my uniform, they just think you were me.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So while they're going, they see Thomas carrying a chainsaw walking down the road. So the real Sheriff Hoyt gets out of the car, tells Charlie to sit and wait, pulls a gun on Leatherface, tries to talk to him. Meanwhile, old Uncle Charlie grabs a shotty off the dash, gets out of the car, and kills Sheriff Hoyt.
The new Sheriff Hoyt now.
Thank God,
He's
right?
got some problems, but dude, the guy's got balls.
Oh yeah.
Like he has no concern in pulling that trigger quick.
No.
And honestly, in this situation, it had to happen, right?
The cop was doing a little talking down about Leatherface too.
Yeah, you can't trash Leatherface.
No.
Come on.
No. So Charlie goes back to the family house, and that's where he makes his full transformation into Sheriff Hoyt. Starts wearing the uniform. He loves it, right?
So from now on, Charlie's gone. Sheriff Hoyt is here.
Yes, that make it easy for us. So this is where we meet a lot of the family at the dinner table. So Hoyt decides to give like an epic speech. Like he thinks this is like the Gettysburg Address or something.
Yeah. It's like the president of the United States type of speech.
Yeah.
Like he's really going to like make some big points here. And this is honestly where it really establishes like the family's doctrine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So we have Sheriff Hoyt, was formerly Uncle Charlie. We have Ludame, we have Monty, we have Thomas Hewitt, who's Leatherface, right?
Yeah. And by the way, Monty's got 2 legs right now.
He does.
Right now.
Yeah, correct. So Hoyt explains basically how they're going to persevere through these times, and the family ends up eating some sheriff stew.
Okay. So, what we find out is apparently they're struggling, especially with the slaughterhouse getting shut down, and they're going to have to eat human meat. Right. That's where we realize that's why they're cannibals now. They just had to survive.
Yeah. So yeah, this is apparently he didn't even want to try to look for any food. He's just like, no, we're eating humans now.
I mean, if it's there, you know.
So I got to say a couple things about the speech. So one part that made me laugh. So Hoyt says,
people may not remember what we say here tonight, but they sure as shit gonna remember what we do.
And to that, I would say, of course they're not going to remember because there's nobody listening to you. Like, why would people remember? They're never going to hear it.
Okay, that's a great point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, but that's the kind of speech. Like, he thinks he's giving it to, like, an audience, you know? Like
it's televised.
He thinks it's like televised. It's crazy. Meanwhile, the couples have left the hotel, and they're on a 2-day Jeep road trip. Basically, they start talking a little about Nam. There's little hints now Dean's giving to Eric. Maybe he's not so interested in Nam.
And Eric's picking it up because Eric kind of questions him too. Like Eric knows something's up.
They keep traveling down the road and they end up stopping off at the old gas station.
Okay, you didn't put it in here. What the F was she talking about? A California place?
Come on, please stop at that store. She's like from California, please.
Yeah, she described the gas station as a California place. As people who live in California, that gas station and nothing about it screams California.
It made no sense.
You know why I didn't put it in here?
Because it was confusing?
It was dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb.
So they stop at the gas station. The girls go inside. The dudes stay outside. The girls meet Ludame inside. Not really a whole lot going on there, but they just kind of see her say a couple words. And then they meet the bikers. So this gas station is infested with bikers.
Okay, it's really odd. You know what? The one thing that kind of threw me off with this is typically in the Texas Chainsaw movies, hey, we're practically pros. We've watched a ton of them now. There's not like a lot of people around. This is like the first time they go somewhere and it's like filled with these bikers.
Well, do you know how many were there? Because I counted.
I would guess 20.
No, that's over. There was actually 12 outside with 2 inside.
Seemed like more. Very large. So it was just odd. It's like, why are these guys here? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like a gas station, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And like you said, normally in these TCM movies, like there's just not people around. So it was weird to see a big group because it kind of like takes away the power of the family. Like it's so deserted, you know?
You're right. Well, that's what makes it so scary. Is like no one's around. Anything can happen. But this one, obviously, a little different.
Yeah, it's people around.
I'll also say, I don't know if we're still going through it. This whole Dean Nom thing is really getting old right now in the story. And we just started. It's already getting old to me as a viewer.
Since you said it, on the outside of the store, Eric and Dean are talking about Nom. Again, it just never ends. Inside, Bailey explains to Chrissy her secret plans with Dean that they're going to Mexico. They ain't going to Nom. Chrissy, totally supportive of it.
And keep in mind, Chrissy's husband, boyfriend, is going to Nam to be with his brother to help him. Dean is just going to ditch him. So now his brother's just going to go by himself to Nam.
Yeah, Eric already been to Nam. He's just going to be a good brother.
Dean sucks, dude.
Dean does suck. Least favorite character in this one.
Absolutely.
So, but before they leave, the girls have to go to the bathroom. They try to go outside to the back door. Biker jump scare.
Dude, these bikers are straight evil, too. They are, right? Soulless.
Especially the one we meet later, but we'll actually two.
There's that's again part of the
time.
personality. No part of personality. I killed my own thing. That's part of the thing. They're like, some of these bikers they just don't have personalities at all.
So the girls get scared away. They all get back in the Jeep and they take off down the road. Now, shortly after they leave, Dean decides, you know what? It's time for me to light this draft card on fire.
The stupidest plan and terrible timing.
Very dumb. So him and Bailey are in the back seat with this card on fire. Eric obviously notices because I don't know who doesn't notice something being lit on fire behind you. They get in a little back and forth. Dean exposes that Eric has night terrors and basically kind of like tries to call him out for it.
Dean just attacks his brother.
I'm not going, Eric. How could you want that from me? I'm not like you. I'm not ready for the shit.
Who's doing nothing by trying to help him.
Yeah, we learn Eric's obviously going back for Dean. Now, in the midst of all this fighting, we notice now a biker is following the kids.
Yep, they want to go rob these kids for absolutely no reason.
Not they. One single girl, a lady biker.
That's true.
With a shotgun is closing fast.
Real quick, why?
Just to rob them.
Do they look like they have money?
No, they don't.
Moving on.
So the bikers chased them. They were arguing. Now they're all freaking out. Eric reaches in the glove box, gets a gun, turns to shoot back at this girl. Meanwhile, a giant blood-filled cow is in the road.
Guys, the freaking cow explodes.
Yeah.
They hit this cow and it explodes everywhere.
Everywhere. Yep.
I mean, I kind of liked it.
Yeah. So they roll the Jeep. They roll all over the place. Chrissy gets flung out of the Jeep. The two, I think Bailey takes a shard of glass and then Dean's knocked out, thank God. So Eric crawls out of this Jeep only to meet the biker chick with a shotgun in his face, explains she's there to rob him. And if you think that's bad, well, it's going to get worse because old Sheriff Hoyt, the new Sheriff Hoyt, arrives to save the day.
Sheriff Hoyt does not play games in this movie.
No, within 5 seconds, the biker's dead.
Dude, just, hi, bow, gone.
Doesn't even want to know the situation. She's dead.
Which I appreciate. She brought nothing to this movie.
Right. Yeah. She deserved to die. So then Eric, basically now we know, again, it's a weird sheriff situation. There's some weird interactions. Eric sees Christy in the bushes, but is like, hey, stay there. You don't want to come into this one right now.
Well, yeah, he just murdered someone. That's usually, that's a red flag, right?
That's a big red flag. So Hoyt does some investigating around the vehicle, finds the burned up draft card, which we'll learn he does not like.
He doesn't like it. He won't shut up that he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
That becomes like the main storyline of the movie.
Yes. Yeah. And for some reason, Eric decides to protect his brother and say, that's my card, not his.
Yeah. He's just trying to be a good big brother, I guess.
Yeah. So Hoyt ends up getting all the kids, loads them in the back seat, puts the dead body in the front seat, gives Monty, another family member, which we've mentioned already, but Monty with 2 legs, to come clean up the scene. He takes off. Chrissy comes out of the bushes, starts to search around the car, and she's looking for the gun when Monty arrives, and she has to hide. Monty examines the scene, finds the pistol himself, so Chrissy doesn't get it, hooks up the car, and he takes off as well. What do you think?
I mean, so first impression, obviously, like I said, Hoyt, I loved that he just iced that girl. I thought that was really cool. And obviously, by the way, Chrissy now is in the vehicle going to the family house. Everyone's on their way to the family house now.
Right.
The whole storyline of this stupid card is really annoying. And I just find the whole Dean storyline boring.
Yeah, Dean, I just don't enjoy. The couple things that I just thought was funny, like the scene where they're lighting that card on fire, Bailey and Dean, they seem like shocked when they get like Eric and them notice. Like they turn and they're like, oh, like as if like you wouldn't notice something being lit on fire, you know?
Again, it makes no sense why they're doing it right there. And that's the way you're going to tell your brother that you're not going to go with him and you're ditching him.
Another question I have, why did this one biker girl just decide? I mean, there was a whole gang of them. So Hoyt takes the kids to the family house. On the way there, Hoyt gives the kids a little bit of an interrogation, asking about Dean about Nam and how it was. Dean, horrible job at pretending he's from Nam.
Well, he just parrots what his brother had told him earlier. It's obvious he's never been there.
So they arrive at the family house in the car, and the kids are all in the back seat, dead body in the front. Hoyt gets out of the car, and there's a bunch of these weird interactions where as Hoyt gets out of the car, like Eric tries to go and grab the shotgun, but like Hoyt just shut the door. Like he's not even a foot away from the car.
And he just comes right back.
He comes right back, grabs a shotgun, and then as soon as he shuts the door, Eric jumps to the front like and starts trying to like get out and stuff, and then he comes right back.
It was so stupid. You're right. I don't know what was going on.
It also is as if nobody can see outside these windows. Like, is nobody watching Hoyt? Like, just let him walk to the house, then you can get out.
Yeah, I appreciate you trying to escape. I would try too, but I would wait for him to get out of the eye shot because you're not going to get away with it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So Hoyt calls Thomas to come over and take the body out of the car. It's our first look, or no, it's not. I don't know why I said that.
You know what? I wrote that's our first look because it's kind of your first real like look from the victim's perspective. First time they see Leatherface.
I guess that's what it is.
Because it does matter because they're like startled, like, what the heck is that? I'm like, well, it's not that weird looking. But
no, but we do see this is a very young, spry, powerful Leatherface.
Oh, yeah.
So he grabs the body out of the front and easily flings her over his shoulder. So after Thomas gets rid of that body, he kind of cuts over to where he hangs up Dean and Eric by their wrists. So they're on these weird contraptions where they're hanging in like a barn. So Sheriff Hoyt now goes inside, talks to Lou May, to what she tells him like, hey, bringing all these kids to this house, horrible idea. Someone's going to come looking for them. The interesting thing to me with this is it's like you're seeing the first interactions of where they bring these victims back, you know?
That was my perspective too. Well, it just is what it is. They're new at this. Hoyt's just going wild. Because again, after he made that declaration, he was out on the road, like looking for people to get, and it just so happened that this like fell into his lap, but he was looking for trouble. And apparently he's just going to bring everyone to the house and kill him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great plan, Hoyt.
Yeah, well, that's a plan.
I mean, it worked.
So Monty arrives with the car and drops it off at the family house. And meanwhile, Chrissy was hiding in it the whole time. So then she slips from inside out beneath the car. So we find ourselves back with Eric and Dean just hanging up from these rafters. And this is where Hoyt's going to do a little interrogation on him.
And if you thought they were done talking about the Vietnam War, we just started, guys.
We just begun.
Hoyt is very upset about this, very interested in this draft card thing.
Right. Yeah, very much so. But meanwhile, while this is going on, Chrissy's in the bushes. She sees this happening.
Did she help?
No.
Chrissy, you know what I put? Chrissy's a camera.
Yeah, she wants to show us the outside perspective.
We're just get to look through her point of view. She doesn't do anything else.
Jeez, relax on Chrissy. So Hoyt decides to bring out the old saran wrap and suffocate Eric a little bit.
I did like that. It's a little callback to the first as well.
So we learn very quickly that Sheriff hates nothing more than a draft-dodging hippie protester.
He's saying that, and he's also coming off like he has this military experience. Here's the thing. I don't know what's real with him. I don't know if he really even hates hippies. I just know he is insane.
Well, he does explain during the Korean War he was a POW.
But is that real? Because he also said he was a sheriff in the previous one, and guys, he wasn't.
Do you know what, though? It's real to him.
You know what? I don't think it is real, because in a little bit, Eric calls him out for the way he's holding a gun. He's like, you weren't in any war.
Ooh.
So I think this whole thing's made up by Hoyt.
Although he says in the Korean War, that's where he was a POW, and that's where he got his first taste of human meat, because they had to eat each other to survive.
Right, which is probably a made-up story by a cannibal who apparently you trust, who's also just killed a sheriff. But no, let's believe his stupid war story.
Right. Back to old Dean and Eric. So Dean decides he's going to confess that it was his draft card because Eric's suffocating because he has saran wrap over his face. To which Hoyt decides to free Eric by shoving a knife into his mouth, which was actually pretty terrifying.
It was cool because at first I thought he stabbed him. Like, oh my God. But no. That was an effective way
Yeah,
to
they
get
had
the
like,
saran wrap
a
off.
little blood that he like spit out or something when he did it because it looked
Probably
kinda
nicked the
crazy.
side of his mouth or something.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So Chrissy decides at this point she's taken off to find help. She runs out to the road. Hoyt grabs Dean and takes him off his little like hanging contraption, throws him on the ground, and decides he's going to test his manhood.
Hold on, buddy. You used 2 hands in your example. Hoyt one hand grabbed him off the hook.
Well, he's been in the Korean War, my friend.
There's no way on earth this dude's one-handing a guy off the hook. That was insane.
He just did.
It did not happen. There's no way that could happen.
All right. Well, you underestimate Sheriff Hoyt.
Let me know in the comments. Do you think he could can you one-hand someone off a hook?
Have you ever tried?
Let me put you on a hook.
So Sheriff Hoyt makes a deal with Dean. If he can do 10 push-ups, he'll give him freedom. So basically the scene goes on where Sheriff Hoyt just beats the crap out of him, but I'll give Dean one like pass in this movie. He actually did 10 push-ups.
Then he just laid there.
Well, he got knocked out.
All right. Well, we'll give it to him. Fine. Dean got knocked out. I'll give you
Knocked
that.
out, lay there. Yeah, potato. Back with Chrissy, she finds a biker traveling down this road. Her savior.
Just so happens to be the other biker's friend.
Yeah. So she tells him that they have her friend, exactly, and he basically gets a gun and she tells him where to go. There's very few words exchanged here.
They have your friend.
Show me where.
With very limited information, this dude's ready to kill everyone.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know like how many people are there, like what happened to her. Is she alive?
Which friend?
Yeah. He doesn't want to know any of that.
Who are you?
He just grabs his gun. He's ready to go.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I appreciate it.
Now we meet one of my favorite characters in this movie, the tea lady.
Oh, the tea lady's great.
It's a very large woman who carries a blue umbrella, and she's going over to meet Ludame for some tea. Meanwhile, Bailey is underneath the table. So they go into the family house to have their tea. Bailey's tied up underneath the table, right?
Yeah, right.
Eric still is hanging up outside. Dean's passed out. Eric is able to escape this contraption, gets Dean off the ground, kind of stashes him, and he decides he's going to go save Bailey. Or I don't even know how he knows she's in there, but he's going to save her.
Right.
He takes like a concrete rock and decides, I'm going to let them all know I'm here right away, and just throws it through the window.
I watched that too, and I didn't even realize what happened. I'm like, why did someone just throw something through the window? And then I realized it's him, and I'm just thinking, why would you do that?
Yeah, like maybe like element of surprise. Right? He was in Nam, right? Like that's a thing.
Yeah, you should understand how to be a little more stealthy. It's going to help you out. You're going to have that on your side. They don't know you were there. They don't know you escaped. Instead, you just announced to everyone, I'm here by throwing a rock through the window.
I would say none of his war skills ever came into play.
No, I honestly was expecting a little more from him because they really played it up like he's been to war. He's done some bad things. We didn't get to see any of those bad things.
No. So after the concrete comes through the window, May gets all freaked out, yells for Hoyt, and she takes off. Now we're left with the tea lady, again, large woman sitting at the table. Eric comes in and decides the best way to stop Hoyt, because Hoyt's on his way down to get him,
right,
is to push the tea lady in front of a door and use her as like a barricade.
Dude, I loved it. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, and it worked. It worked surprisingly well.
I mean, she's not gonna move. You know?
Hoyt sees he can't get through, so he calls for Thomas. Eric grabs the keys because Monty made it into the house earlier. It's a little scene, whatever, it happened. And he left the keys to the tow truck on the counter. So Eric grabs the keys, gives them to Bailey, and Bailey takes off. So Bailey makes it out to the truck, and she actually gets it to start, which is surprising in these movies. Takes off in the truck. She's on her way to freedom right before Leatherface has a hay bale hook that he swings into the car and yanks her out of it.
Dude, that was like shocking. And I don't really understand how that worked, how he caught up to the truck, but I don't even care. It was an awesome way to get her out.
I thought the same thing. Like, was he on the truck? Because she was going kind of fast. Or this may be the fastest Leatherface we've seen yet.
He's running along the side of it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
It didn't really make sense.
Hoyt catches Eric and Dean trying to escape. These guys aren't very good at escaping. So Eric decides he's going to confront Hoyt, who's holding a shotgun. This is where you talked about earlier. He basically challenges him to shoot him in the face.
Pull the fucking trigger!
I don't know why you would do, because Hoyt's already proven he doesn't have a problem just killing people.
I think in the world they set up, Hoyt should have just shot him in the face. And it'd been like, yeah, because I mean, honestly, what's the point? That's kind of my point. A bigger point of this movie. Why even keep them alive? I think he just likes torture, maybe.
He kind of made it a point that he has more in store for Eric. Like, he's not done with him yet.
Yeah, he's going to teach him a lesson, maybe.
I guess so.
He's
crazy.
Guess so. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dean runs off, and in this, we're in the Texas countryside. There's so much field you could run through anywhere, right? Dean finds the one bear trap that's set up.
Ow! He runs straight into a bear trap, and I'm like, freaking Dean, dude. Talk about doing zero. Doing zero. Quick editor's note, we forgot to mention when Dean gets stuck in the trap, that distracts Eric, to which Sheriff Hoyt knocks Eric out with the butt of his shotgun.
Okay, I got to talk about one line from the tea lady before we move on, because I love the tea lady.
Okay, I had a line, and I wasn't going to say it because I thought you were going to get mad at me for interrupting you, but let's hear your line first.
Okay, so Luda May explains she's got these chocolates for the tea lady. And when the tea lady finds out that Luda May puts a little bit of coconut in these chocolates, she says,
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I just loved it. She said, I can't stop eating these little chocolates.
Yeah, she loves chocolate. I mean, the tea lady, the umbrella, she loves the fact that she just loves tea and delivering tea, and that she loves these little chocolates. I like this lady.
Yeah, and what a weird character. Why is she there?
But I don't know why, but I love that she is.
I mean, honestly, it sounds weird, but I like these stupid, quirky things in movies, and it is just kind of funny. And I love that Eric just shoved her against the door to stop Hoyt from coming in.
Yeah, and the tea lady is in the 2003 movie as well. Well, the day goes on, and we cut to nighttime. So, in nighttime, you think Dean's been in this trap all day. He's probably made some progress, right?
One would think.
Nope, Dean's just he's given up on life.
Dean put zero effort into trying to help anyone do anything in this whole movie.
So, we have Dean in the trap. Thomas takes Eric down to the basement.
Leatherface
takes Eric down to the basement.
Yes.
So we see the biker girl. She's been destroyed. She's missing limbs. She's hanging upside down.
Yeah,
it's not good.
She's long time dead.
Yep. He takes Thomas Leatherface takes Eric and shackles him to the table and basically pins him down with these metal shackles. Like he's stuck.
It was pretty gnarly too. He's like nailing those things in or something.
At least it wasn't in his hands. This is again early. I think later Leatherface, they would have just gone through nail spikes in the hand.
Yeah, this is step one. He hasn't done this before.
Yeah. So outside the house, Chrissy arrives with the biker. They have a little bit of discussion. Again, the biker wants no information.
He doesn't even like Chrissy. He just wants to go in there and find his friend who, again, he doesn't know who that is yet.
He doesn't know which friend it is. Well, maybe he was, we'll assume maybe he's looking for her.
They were sitting together, so I guess you could assume they were together.
I would say we can assume that he knows she disappeared for a robbery and she didn't come back.
Yeah, I'm being a little nitpicky.
Yeah, you're being nitpicky. But he doesn't want to work together with Chrissy at all.
My friends.
Fuck your friends.
So Chrissy and the biker just split off. We don't know what the biker's doing at this point. Chrissy ends up finding Dean in the trap.
Just sitting there whimpering.
So basically he tells her she needs to go for help. She's like, nah, there ain't no help to get. This is it. She was going to help free him, but he didn't even want that.
Yeah, I'm like, she's going to free his leg. And he's like, no, it hurts. But it's like, bro, you have no other choice. You better get your leg out of there. Else guess what? You're stuck there.
Yeah, there ain't help coming.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't want that. So Chrissy leaves Dean, which again, that's a great decision.
Absolutely. He's a lost cause.
So she goes over to the house to start exploring. Meanwhile, Hoyt's upstairs tying Bailey to the bed, which is actually kind of ironic because the first scene with the Bailey, she was tying someone else to a bed.
Oh, good catch. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Okay. So there's multiple things going on at the same time. So I'm going to try to kind of summarize it. The biker makes his way into the house. He just walks in.
Yeah.
Christy's on the outside looking through a window. She kind of sees Luda May walk by. She ends up climbing through, kind of sneaking around the house.
She does a lot of sneaking for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, she's avoiding Luda May. She's avoiding Monty. But she does hear the cries of Eric from the basement. So she kind of meanders over. She finds that metal door that leads to the basement. I don't think she knows how to open it. So she's kind of just hanging around that area.
Right.
Meanwhile, biker comes in. Blocka. Shoots Monty in the leg very quickly.
Oh, just blasts him. Again, he doesn't even know who these people are. He doesn't know if his friend that's a girl is even there. He just blasts Monty's legs off.
Yeah,
Well, they're attached, but in bad shape.
So Monty gets blasted. Hoyt hears the gunshots and thinks Monty shot himself and comes over to help him out, right? Investigate.
This movie's so stupid.
Yeah. Well, I like a bit of it. But the biker then takes Hoyt hostage, right? He says, like, take me to the girl, to which Hoyt says, all right, I'll take you to the girl. But Hoyt also yells for Thomas during this.
Right.
Thomas hears the yell, grabs his chainsaw, leaves Eric down in the basement, goes upstairs, slams. I did like this slam. He slammed open the door. Usually I'm a big, like, how they slam the door closed.
Right.
This was a good opening.
You just like the power of Leatherface.
Right.
Which I do too. So yeah, this Leatherface is very powerful, just like the other one, and it works.
Yeah. So he slams open the door, runs by Chrissy, not seeing her. Chrissy does a little sneaking down to the basement to where she finds Eric and his mangled arm.
Oh yeah, but you forgot to mention Leatherface just ripped part of his arm off.
Oh, you're right. I did forget to mention that.
It doesn't matter. It was gnarly.
Yeah, he like skinned an arm.
Disgusting.
Yeah, he took like muscle and stuff off it too.
Yeah,
like,
so his arm's not working very well.
No, and Eric's here, all impersonate Eric. I'm so cold.
Then he asks, how many children are we going to have?
Yeah, they start talking about their future children. They're setting us up. Come on, we know what's going on here.
As
right?
soon as someone starts talking about how many children they're going to have with someone else, they're going to die very soon.
Yeah, they're already dead.
She's going to have children, just not with, well, actually, no, she won't. Spoiler alert. Forget it. Scrap it.
From the basement, we go back to Hoyt heading up to the second floor with the biker. So he's taking the biker to Bailey because he doesn't, again, the biker didn't explain anything. He just said, take me to the girl or whatever. So
Right.
he takes him to Bailey. And we learned that the biker isn't looking for Bailey.
That's like my favorite part. And he's like, well, here you go. And the biker's like, well, that's not the girl. He's like, oh, shoot.
That's not her. Shit, that ain't her. You don't want to see the other girl.
Thinking Hoyt's mind, he's like, here, I'll just give you this one. You know, this is your girl. We're fine. And then once he finds out that's not the girl, he's like, I'm in trouble because he's not going to like what happened to that other one.
You really don't want to see what we did to the other one. I love that part.
It was good.
So the biker gets pissed and we have another great scene because the biker has his gun on Hoyt, points it at him and says, you dumb son of a bitch. Click.
Dude, like, come on. You don't know that you already shot your bullets into someone else?
Yeah, he's got no ammo. To which Leatherface arrives and does a chainsaw chop, but the chainsaw's not running. Or maybe it's running, but it's not revved.
Oh.
He just hits him in the arm with it.
Okay.
So it doesn't like cut off his arm. It just like hits him, right? They get in a little tussle. Leatherface's saw falls on the ground. The biker falls on top of it.
Okay.
Now we get to a legendary Leatherface kill. So Hoyt's on top of this, and I gotta say, one of my favorite parts, I love Hoyt in these movies. He is totally gassing up Leatherface.
Oh, yeah. Well, because Leatherface hasn't, again, at this point, I don't think he's killed anyone with a chainsaw.
That's correct.
Yeah, so this is his first time, and Hoyt's really getting him ready to do it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
here's some of the lines. This is one of those assholes who effed with you in the schoolyard. And then as Leatherface grabs the saw, Hoyt says, crank it up. Yeah. So Leatherface, let me explain the scene. So we have the biker laying on a saw. It's not on. And we have Hoyt on top holding the biker down on top of it. Leatherface comes over to the saw and starts it up and just rips into the biker.
I don't even know where the saw was. I just know that wouldn't have been a good situation.
And just starts it and saw. That's our first, Leatherface saw kill right there.
Hey, we saw his first kill in this universe of Leatherface.
And do you know what Hoyt thought about it?
Oh, yeah. My favorite, another great line. You beautiful bastard.
Yeah.
I have it written down too.
Hoyt loved it.
But you see, so again, this is setting it up like Hoyt's built this Leatherface. Like he's turned him into a monster. I mean, Leatherface did kill that one guy on his own. The guy did deserve it though. But now Hoyt's really cultivating this monster we see.
Yeah.
This beautiful bastard.
I mean, I thought the hay hook was awesome. This one, I think, upped it. And this isn't even my favorite kill of the movie.
No, and we can just say that this Leatherface, he's got so much potential.
I mean, he really does.
Yeah.
So Leatherface returns down to the basement. Chrissy has to take cover underneath poor Eric's cold body. So we see the scene unfold. Leatherface starts the saw, and there's nothing Chrissy can do as Leatherface goes overhead and buries it straight into his stomach.
Oh, it's brutal. And dude, the blood sprays all over Chrissy.
Oh, dude.
All over her face.
Oh, it's brutal.
I mean,
it's a
I'm like,
brutal
bro,
scene.
I think you should have got a little further away from Eric. But again, Chrissy also just does nothing in this. She just watches.
No.
I mean, let's be real though.
What
She's not
can she?
She's not
do?
doing anything against Leatherface.
So Leatherface gets his second chainsaw kill of the movie, and he now is decided he sees a beautiful face. It's time for me to carve it up.
And we get to see his first face. And guys, this has actually got emotional for me.
Yeah, this is Leather. It's like a baby being born, you know?
Yeah, it's putting his first
Well,
face on.
I guess we saw him being born, and now we see him becoming a man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So he puts on Eric's face, and he heads, Hoyt calls him upstairs, and we see a little interaction with him and Hoyt, and I got a hot take for you.
What's that?
Hoyt's a good dad.
I mean, he is very good to Leatherface. I get his parenting style is a little controversial, especially now everyone's so soft.
So he defended,
but he is nice to the kid.
He is. He defended him when we didn't talk about it, but in the cop car with the original Sheriff Hoyt, he was calling him like the R word and like bashing him. And then Hoyt was like, he's just misunderstood. You know, he's like, I think he might be a good dad. And even here, he like gives him a lot of positive reinforcement. Like he's like, I like your new mask, you know? Like, not a bad dad.
I mean, that is pretty understanding. The guy put a face on his face. He's just like, hey, it looks good, man.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, actually, the face does look pretty good. It's not like Kemper in the last one, which was like way too realistic. It was just for one shot.
It was way too realistic. It was like comically realistic, you know?
But this one actually looks like a scary face.
So Leatherface and Hoyt, they take off. Chrissy escapes up the stairs and into the house. She gets to the front door. She's thinking about leaving. Actually, there's a really cool shot where they have her at the front door and they pan out.
Dude, I loved this shot.
That was a really great shot, right?
I had it in my notes. Great shot.
I didn't even put that in my notes. I was just thinking about it. It's a great
it was
shot.
cool because they kind of music to it too, and it's like when it pulls away, you feel because the whole point of that shot is like Chrissy could just leave, and she could leave Bailey. Obviously, Eric's dead. Who gives an F about Dean? No one cares about him. But she could leave if she wants to, and then you could just see she just gets sucked back in. She's got to go back in and help Bailey, right?
Yeah, and the house itself is like a menacing, like it's an imposing, you know.
It's
image.
almost like the house is the monster, right?
Boom.
I should be like a professional.
So Chrissy decides she's got to go in and find Bailey. She hears her screaming upstairs. She kind of creeps upstairs. You may be asking yourself, what happened to Monty? He got shot, right?
Right.
Well, Ludamie is with him and she's helping him out, comforting him, bringing him back to health. Now, let me just say, Monty just got shot in the leg.
Yeah, he's in bad shape. He's in a lot of pain. Obviously, his leg took a pretty close shotgun blast.
Yeah.
Is that a shotgun?
No, I think it was a pistol, bro.
Sure, pistol, right in the leg.
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna drink the coffee backwards.
So Hoyt comes over to kind of fix this problem, right? To help Monty out. He calls Leatherface over because he needs a little expert opinion. And this is where things go off the rails.
Okay, so again, we know Monty doesn't have legs from the previous movie. Now we're going to get to see how they decided they were going to make this happen.
Yeah. So here, let me just explain to you. If you get shot, you have a hole in your leg, right? How do you fix that?
You take it off.
You make a bigger hole in that same leg.
So yeah, Hoyt has Leatherface come over and chop the freaking leg off.
A whole leg. Now you may be thinking, okay, that sounds nuts, but it's Chainsaw Massacre. We're not done yet because for some reason, actually I know why, he says it's for balance.
He wants to even Monty out.
Yeah, so he cuts off Monty's other leg,
which was totally fine. There was nothing wrong with that leg.
No.
And actually, I'll say this: Monty handled the whole thing like a champ.
I mean, he really
considering
did.
You got your leg sawed off, and I don't know that you would survive that. To be honest.
Here's my expert advice on this: probably put a couple tourniquets on those legs before you slice them off.
I'm not in the medical field, but I know that way it was done was clearly wrong.
It was gruesome, dude. It was totally ridiculous, but I didn't hate it, you know?
No.
So Monty's now half a Monty. He's not a full Monty.
Yeah, oh, that was good.
And Chrissy ends up making her way to Bailey, unties her from the bed, to which Bailey says, "They know you're here."
I thought that was pretty cool, but also it's like, how would she know that they know she's there? But it was cool. Whatever.
Yeah, I like the line.
The line was good.
Yeah, Hoyt arrives, grabs her, and this is where we get into the new dinner table scene.
You know the one thing I don't like about this universe of Texas Chainsaw is that there's no grandpa, and you can't have a dinner table without a grandpa.
Monty almost turns into the grandpa though, because he's kind of like disoriented and drooling, and
maybe that's but he's uncle, so whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. So here at the dinner table, we see the family in full on cannibal mode. I mean, we're seeing fingers, we're seeing like organs, toes, like all of it. And we learned they're just going to eat it all.
I'm going to be honest. I actually like this scene because in other ones, you don't really see them eating that I remember. And this one, it's like, hey, they're having like a great meal.
Oh yeah.
If
dude,
you're into that type of thing.
Like Thanksgiving, you know?
Oh yeah.
So we have Chrissy sitting at the table. We have Bailey, who's getting a haircut by Luda May. Okay. Second hot take. Can I do a second hot take?
Go ahead.
Luda May, not that bad.
No, well, because again, it's really Hoyt is the one that's bad in all this. No one else really did anything. He gathered all the people, brought them to the house, and he's like torturing them, and he's having Leatherface do his dirty work too.
Right.
So yeah, it's really the other family members aren't that bad. Even Leatherface, he's controlled by Hoyt.
Well, Monty just doesn't want to get in business. Like, he's just living his life.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Luda May, she takes care of people. She was taking care of Monty when he got his legs cut off. She drinks tea with the tea lady, who we love.
Yeah.
She's cleaning up Bailey earlier. When Bailey has blood on her, she's cleaning her up before the tea. During this scene, she's giving Bailey a haircut, kind of gussying her up. I think she just married the wrong guy.
Be born in the 50s, gussying
her up.
I've never heard you say that before.
You gussy her up.
Where did you hear that?
That's what you do. You gussy them up.
All right, I've never heard that, but all right, I get it. I kind of understand what you're saying. You're right, though. She isn't that bad.
She married the wrong guy. So we set the scene of everybody at the table. This is where Hoyt decides he's going to call Thomas over and liven it up a little bit.
We missed a part, which is totally fine, but Hoyt and Bailey kind of had a thing, and there's kind of some implication that he might have done some very bad things to Bailey.
I tried to gloss over that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but I want to bring it up because I think it's important to know or to not understand maybe is that what happens next makes no sense to me.
That is, you know what? I didn't think, okay, we're not going to talk too much about it, but he definitely felt her up when she was tied up.
Yeah.
Like kissed her face or something, and she is missing teeth.
Oh, I didn't know. She is missing teeth. You're right.
I don't know when that happened or
something
why.
very bad happened to her. What ends up happening now is Thomas Leatherface comes over and just slits her throat. And I think did Hoyt ask him to do that?
Yeah, I think Hoyt gave a little one of these like across the neck.
Yeah, and someone said like set her free. But the whole thing is like, why did they keep her alive? Like I thought Hoyt liked her.
I think you know why.
No, I know, but I'm saying like, why would they kill her right now? It just didn't make sense to me.
I don't know.
Like honestly, it made no sense why they kept her alive to the family dinner table and then they just kill her. It's like okay,
yeah,
like you have plenty of food. At least keep her alive and like fatten her up for a few days.
All right, you're kind
she's
of
cattle
family. Now. Well, maybe she's good meat though, and they need to eat. Maybe
they have plenty of meat right now. Can we all agree on that? I mean, for real though, your meat's gonna spoil. Now you got to put her in the freezer.
You're looking too far. Let it go. Let it go. She's gone. Darren was very attached to Bailey, which we all know why. So Thomas grabs Chrissy, and he's going to now take Chrissy downstairs. On the way down, Chrissy gives old Thomas a stab, and she takes off.
Right.
Goes to the front door. Hoyt cuts her off, and this is where I will say the greatest window jump in TCM history. Chrissy jumps out of this window like you would like dive into a pool. Like she full send it. Like when 2 arms out, Superman dive out the window with a roll straight to her feet running.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like this chick jumped out the window and did not stop. She immediately is up and gone. You're right. I agree. She was the best window jumper I've ever seen. I don't think it would work like that in real life, but it's okay. It was great.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. So Leatherface gives chase. Meanwhile, Leatherface is chasing Chrissy outside. Dean wakes up from his nap, which we all thought he was dead at this point, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we said it, we probably did. He's still at the table just sleeping.
Yeah. So he wakes up and he surprises Hoyt at the front door and hits him. It's hard to see. It looked like a mallet or a hammer or something. Grabs his head and just smashes his head a bunch into the ground. But as Dean, like, notoriously just fells.
Well, okay, so Dean destroys Hoyt. Like, he's bashed his teeth. He's talking trash. And then we find out he knocks Hoyt's teeth out, which we saw in the first movie. He was missing teeth.
I forgot about
Dude,
that.
this whole movie is just explains everything that happened in the first one.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of the movie. But yeah. But of course, Dean doesn't kill him, which is like, bro, you can't let this guy survive.
No.
Like, he's the one you got to finish. But it's Dean, so Dean leaves him.
Correct.
That's what happens.
So Chrissy runs around, ends up back at the slaughterhouse. I say back, she's never been there, but she arrives. And out of this whole slaughterhouse, Chrissy decides to go to the only room with a light on, probably the worst place you could hide, the manager's office.
Yeah, of course. But there's some good items she needs in there, right?
I mean, there's a phone, but who are you going to call?
Yeah. And the guy's still dead there, which, again, apparently this all happened. Actually, I think it all happened the same day.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until I saw the guy laying there. I'm like, oh, shoot. Did this just happen?
So she tries to call. That doesn't work. I don't know. Did she grab anything? I think she gets a knife or something out of
She
there.
gets keys, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She gets keys and like a knife. But Leatherface arrives and he finds her within seconds of getting in the slaughterhouse.
Of course. You're not going to get in the slaughterhouse without Leatherface finding you, of course, right?
Yeah. Chrissy takes off, somehow kind of like evades him, and ends up in what I would call bloody meat water.
Oh, just disgusting. It's just purely just a scene just so we could see her in a bunch of blood, which it worked. It was kind of cool and disgusting.
But it was like chunky, like rotting
gross.
meat water.
You could just imagine it's been sitting there for months.
Yeah. So Leatherface kind of looks around and he somehow like spots her, but she doesn't know he spotted her. And he goes to start his saw, and we have Dean come to the rescue.
Saves the day. Chrissy!
Chrissy distracts Leatherface too much. Chrissy like flies out of the water Friday the 13th style.
Absolutely.
Gives Leatherface a stab. He pushes her to the side, knocks her down. He's going for an overhead with the saw. He's got overhead. He's ready for the finish.
Chrissy.
Yep. Dean comes in, hits Leatherface. He like falls to the ground, and then Dean just forgets about him and decides he's going to turn his back to this monster and help Chrissy up.
It's hard to do the podcast because our ideas are the exact same thing. I had that in my notes too. I'm like, this idiot freaking Dean does a great job, distracts Leatherface. The guy's got a chainsaw. Just think about this. Dean hits him and then just turns his back to him. It's not like Leatherface is knocked out. He just hits him, distracts him, turns your back to a man with a chainsaw. So let's see what happens.
So what happens is one of the greatest kills ever by Leatherface.
I mean, this for sure is one of my favorites.
Dean's got his back turned to him. Leatherface takes his saw straight through his back. I'm not done.
No.
Lifts him up on the saw. I call it the impaler. Lifts him up with him on the saw and then flings him to the side.
Dude, I love the lift. The lift was so good. You could just feel it. And again, the power of this man. He's not a man. He's a monster.
He's a myth. He's a legend. So Chrissy takes off. She's looking for an exit. Can't find one. Finds some sheet metal over like a crawl space. Ends up moving that to the side. Scurries through perfectly to the car.
Absolutely.
Starts the car and she escapes.
Home free.
Home free. Makes it out off the driveway onto like the main road. And we see police lights up ahead.
Thank God, because now she can report all these people.
And we learn there's other cops in the area. That the real Sheriff Hoyt was a liar.
Yeah.
Because there's another cop on a traffic stop ahead from him. So
yeah, you're right.
Chrissy's just going to go and get some help. Not so fast, because Leatherface has a 3-piece here.
This is a wild set of events here.
Contender. I have multiple contenders for the best kill, and this one's up there. So Chrissy's driving. Leatherface pops out from the back seat, saw through the seat, through Chrissy, kills her. The car careens out of control into the cop and the traffic stop, kills the cop and the other guy and Chrissy. 3-piece.
The timing of this was just perfection. Leatherface is just a master. He's almost like an artist at this point.
This was like a Thomas Kincaid of death.
Can I say, Leatherface, can we admit he's a giant man, right?
Correct.
She didn't see him in the back seat.
How did he get in the back seat?
How did he know she was going to get in the car? How did he get in the car?
Questions we'll never know the answer
We'll
to.
never know. And I don't even want to know. Just questions I want you guys to think about.
Yeah.
I just saw him peek up and I'm like, no way. This dude's in the back seat. But it was great and shocking.
Yes, and Leatherface ends the movie by walking down the road with his chainsaw into the darkness.
It's over.
But it's not, because we have the final narration. There was no narration in the beginning, but there's narration at the end. From 1969 to 1973, the Hewitt family murdered 33 people across the state of Texas.
Tragedy.
To this day, their killing spree is universally considered one of the most notorious and perversely sadistic crimes in the annals of American history. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I think that's... I was going to make a stupid joke. But
I know
was
what you were
gonna-
going to say. That's anal. Is what you were going to say. I
That was
know
a
you.
stupid
You're an idiot.
joke. But I ruined. I love your sound effect. Yeah,
It's-
you know. So
the sound effect's close to reindeer or Rudolph's nose glow. You know what I'm talking about?
no, I don't know what noise he makes.
You guys get it.
You know what's funny? So I was thinking about this, and I feel like this was the end of this universe, right? That we had 2 movies. Now this is the second of this new Leatherface.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this was the end, and that's what they're saying. Like he had 33 kills, and it's over.
No, he did good.
Yeah, but don't you think that's what it is? They're capping this.
I think so, but I haven't watched the other movies, so I don't
We'll
want to
find
say.
out in the next one.
All right. Now we have to move to the best Leatherface kill in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. So I put a couple contenders on here. I think I missed one of them, but these are my favorites. And one of them's the first one's not a kill. The hay hook from the vehicle. I'm throwing it as a kill. I just thought it was awesome.
I mean, how he did it, I have no idea, but it was beautiful.
So you got to pick one of these. There's the hay hook from the vehicle. There's the biker laying on the saw that gets right. We have Dean with the impaler, and we have the 3-piece ending.
The 3-piece was just great because it was like bowling, right? It's like a strike.
That is true.
But I'll say Dean, dude. I loved when he lifted Dean up. Like that to me is just a beautiful, beautiful kill.
I mean, I have to agree. The impaler, that's just the pure power of Leatherface.
What I wanted though, I wanted him to lift him and then pull the saw just so then it just starts spraying.
Just feather that trigger a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, I give it a little spray. That would have been nice, but I think we both agree on that. Now, what we might not agree on is how we felt about this movie. Your final thoughts.
What's our score here?
You rate it however you want. We've done it too. We started with these skulls. We didn't like
That
that.
was stupid.
Yeah, I don't want to give a number to these movies because I like them in different ways and I don't want to rate them. Then we went to the like it or gotta watch it, check it out. If you're bored, watch it. I just say what you feel to them.
Yeah, I don't want to be put in a box.
Yeah, so just let them know how you feel about it
So-
and maybe if they should watch it or not.
So the thing I like about this movie is there's just some stupid part. Like I like movies that are kind of goofy and ridiculous. The heavyset lady and pushing at the door, funny.
Her name, she is the tea lady.
The tea lady, funny.
Put respect on that name.
I'm sorry. The kills were great. As with the previous movie, Leatherface is super strong. Long story short, okay, I gotta say this too, actually, before I go there. Dean's storyline was infuriating. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was incredibly boring. They talked way too much about the war. There was no payoff to that either because Hoyt was so interested in the draft card. Did it matter?
No.
No, it didn't matter at all. So it was all for nothing. I would say if you like TCM, just watch. It's okay. I would give it an okay. This movie's okay to me.
All right. So what I liked about it, and we already talked about it, but especially because we just watched the 2003 movie, I thought it was really cool. All the stuff they explained, like the origin of Leatherface, you saw his mom, how he was born in a slaughterhouse. You saw his first mask. I mean, that was a big moment.
That was good. You're right. I did like the tie into the first. I didn't even know that going into this. I didn't even know it was related to the first.
Well, and it kind of just shows you how he's developing, although it's for this universe.
You're right.
know?
And I do like the whole story of how I was going to say Sawyers, heaven forbid. These are the Hewitts now, how they became cannibals. And so
Well,
it does all make sense now.
Yeah, because there's a lot more to the story. We learned about Hoyt was a POW. That's where he
He was not a POW, but he says he was.
Okay. Well, he got the taste for cannibalism, and then they had to do it to survive, right?
Right.
We kind of learned about how he became. Well, we totally learned how he became Sheriff Hoyt. So it just tied up like a lot of those loose ends. Overall, though, I do have to agree with you about the whole draft thing. Like, I just don't even think it was needed. And it just didn't make sense to me, especially like brothers. Like, you're going to talk about this before you're driving to go into the, to be drafted or whatever.
The storyline was just weak. And I'll say this, the victims, not like, I didn't connect really with any of them. Eric, I kind of liked, but he didn't play much of a part. Chrissy did absolutely nothing. And Dean was just a sack of shit.
Yeah, you almost didn't need that draft dungeon. I get it because they set it for the time and whatnot. I mean, it was a little much. That whole storyline it didn't do it for me. I didn't really care. And it seemed like overblown and exaggerated.
Yeah, you could have had that in the beginning to start this whole circumstances, like where he burns the card, okay, whatever. And then they hit the cow. But then we could leave that and move on because it really didn't need to play a part in the rest of the movie.
Hoyt, to me, always great in these movies. I like him.
He's almost too bad sometimes, though.
I'd say this movie wasn't as comical. He was more of kind of like evil.
Well, the situation with him and Bailey is like, it's a little too much for me.
Yeah. I did love the Leatherface, though.
Not that killing's bad, you know? That's also, I guess, bad, but
yeah. I did love the Leatherface. Like, he's a straight up monster in this one. Like, he is so powerful and strong and like awesome. The kills in this movie are, I think, the best out of any of them.
Yeah, he's great.
So, and then, I mean, come on, the tea lady. How do you not like the tea?
Yeah.
Have I said it enough here? Overall, like, again, the characters, like the victims lacked a little for me, but in the family, I mean, May and Monty really were just normal people. Like, and even Hoyt, I get it's the beginning, but there wasn't a whole lot of character in there. Overall, I mean, I thought it was good. I definitely, if I didn't watch the 2003, I probably wouldn't have liked this very much at all. But being that it like explains so much, I'd say you got to check it out.
I mean, I guess check it out. I would say it's actually a decent sequel, but as a movie, not that into it. It's okay. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to watch it again.
I don't either, but I feel like I learned so much about the family that it was worth it.
If you watch the first one, then sure. If not, well,
I mean, but it kind of just overall gives you backstory on like the family themselves, although it's not the original family, so whatever.
These are the Hewitts. Who cares about them?
All right, let's move on to a little bit of trivia. All right, so producers Andrew Fromm and Brad Fuller, I'm going to sum this up for you guys. Basically, they didn't want to make a sequel to the 2003 movie. Fans wanted to know how this family became the way they were. Then they basically decided to make the movie.
And again, it makes sense why at the end they said, oh, this family's killed 33 people. You know, they kind of cap it because I don't think they want to make any more in this universe.
According to the producer Brad Fuller, the film was given an NC-17 rating and a total of 17 scenes had to be edited in order to get it to an R rating.
So maybe in that version, Dean hit a home run?
No. I would say maybe in that version, old Hoyt.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm just saying, because the teeth missing was like, it missed a scene in there.
Yeah, you're right. There's just no explanation. You're right. Something weird happened.
Something bad happened in there.
Ugh.
Continuity. When Leatherface goes up the stairs to help Sheriff Hoyt, he grabs the chainsaw. When the film cuts to the next shot of him opening and coming through the door, chainsaw's gone. All right.
Is it just me? I love continuity errors.
There's a ton of them in here. I don't put them all in because there's a ton.
Oh, see.
Some of them are little though. It's like in one scene, the hammer's in the left hand, the next it's the right. It's like a little stuff that I'm like,
It's still fun though. I don't know why I like when they screw up.
There's a lot in these movies. Okay, I have a quiz for you. Body count in the movie.
Oh man, 6?
Final answer?
Yeah.
11. 12 if you count the cow.
Whoa. Oh, because I guess Leatherface's mom died. We don't have to go through them all.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah. don't make me do this.
Continuity. In the meat house, Chrissy hides in the blood pool, but when she's driving away, she's clean.
Dude, it's amazing how stupid I am that I don't even notice these things.
Well, it's hard. In that scene, you're focused on her like getting out.
Well, and Dean viciously killed.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. The funny thing about this movie, I don't really even like it. I think again, the plot's just like all over the place. But it is fun watching with you and talking about it.
I know. I think it's almost, to be honest, I have more fun talking about it than watching.
Don't watch it,
Because
just watch us talk about
It's
it.
kind of fun because we don't really talk about what we found in it and our points on it until now. So then it's fun to kind of hear what we think.
We can't because we talk too much. We'd ruin the whole thing.
That's true. So that's the end of our episode, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. Next, we're going to be doing Texas Chainsaw
3D.
3D.
And we're back with the Sawyers. Forget the Hewitts.
Yeah, F the Hewitts. All right, thank you guys all for listening. Give a like, subscribe, leave a comment. It's all appreciated.
Tell your friends, hey, thank you for watching.
We appreciate it. We'll
Or
catch
listening.
you guys.
Or listening.
Or listening.
See ya.
See you guys.